Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Hey, Tom, happy Thursday, and it is National Repeat Day. Hey, Tom, happy Thursday, and it's National Repeat Day.
There's actually a thing as National Repeat Day. Let me say that again. There's actually a thing as National Repeat Day.
Yes, there is, Tom. Yes, there is, Tom.
What does that really mean? I mean, is that we were supposed to repeat what we did yesterday? Or are we supposed to do this and just repeat everything we say twice? Well,
I don't have an answer for you. I just get a listing each morning now. I found a way to get it delivered to me in my email. So this morning at 6:13 a.m. came an email and it said it's also National Egg Day. So it's going to be an excellent day. Thank you.
I don't even know how to respond to that. But I'm going to put someone to the task of figuring out, like, what does National Repeat Day mean? Like, why would that ever get started? And what is the value of National Repeat Day? I'm struggling with that.
Yeah, I will tell you, when I was a camp counselor, these days were great. Like, we had backwards day, and we'd have breakfast for dinner and dinner for breakfast. That was a good time. And we had National Upside Down, or we had Upside Down Day, where we did everything upside down.
How do you do that?
We could. No, we played baseball, and you had to roll the ball. So it was more like cricket because it was upside down. Yeah, look, when you're a camp counselor and you got to kill time with kids for a summer, you come up with anything, Tom.
That's fair. Yeah. That is fair. I'll go with that. All right. Well, let's move on. Although I guess we could repeat this all over again since it's not a repeat day. Let's talk a little bit about, we do have a couple of events coming up in June.
Hey.
For our Ring of Renegades members and Renegade Success Network members. Do you want to share that, Bob?
I would love to. I hope you're going to give me the information because I don't have the dates in front of me. Oh, thank goodness. Tom and his marvelous efforts. So on Tuesday, June 8th at 8:30 a.m., join us right after this program. We'll do the Renegade Roundup networking event, and we'll do another one Thursday, June 24th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, you may say, why would I round up with these guys and hang out with them? Why would I network with them? I'll tell you right now. Some of the best networking I've done has been with the people that show up at these events. In fact, Tom and I were just talking about someone who was at the last event, first-time visitor, and I was already trying to connect her with one of my clients. Wouldn't have known about her otherwise. So if you're trying to get the word out, if you're trying to find like-minded people, if you're trying to grow your business, you want to mark both these dates on your calendar. Look in the Facebook events page in the Ring of Renegades, and you can be there to join us.
Excellent. Do you want to also do a quick thing on our summer celebration, just as a reminder?
Summer celebration. Woo, woo. Hey, it's our summer celebration, people. It is the perfect time to celebrate whatever you have going on. Celebrate big things. Celebrate small things. Celebrate things that matter only to you. Celebrate things that matter to the whole world. It doesn't matter. We want you to take a moment each day and write down what you're celebrating. It could be that I made breakfast today. Like I'm actually celebrating, this is completely random, but I make oatmeal every morning for breakfast. And I usually include the same ingredients. I don't know what it was about today, but I nailed it. It was so good. It's like the best oatmeal I've ever had. So I'm going to celebrate the fact that I have probably made oatmeal 5 days a week, every week for 8, 10, 12 years. And today might have been the best oatmeal I've ever made myself.
Might be a good day to repeat that.
If only. The apples, I had apples that I cooked a little bit, and got to put some ghee in there, which is clarified butter, because that's healthy for you, good fats. And I had some turmeric and some ginger and some nutmeg and some pumpkin, cooked pumpkin seeds. I had a lot going on there, but it was just awesome. Yeah, yeah.
That is a good celebration.
Makes you want to come over for breakfast, don't you?
It does. Although I'm not a big oatmeal person.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right.
It's good for the heart, good for the cholesterol, good to avoid diabetes, all those important things that, we guys who are not 23 and 25 have to worry about.
Fair enough.
There you go.
All right. So that's a great
Later today, we'll be talking about prostate cancer and erectile dysfunction. No, we won't. It just sounded like we were going medical.
Let's not repeat that today. That would be a good step forward. So anyhow, that's a great celebration. Not talking medical, but your celebration, and the reason that why we can celebrate whatever it is, because likely that celebration will help you figure out, well, what can I do tomorrow to either repeat that or do it differently, and how can I now top the greatest oatmeal that you have ever had? And I think that is one of the beautiful things about celebrating, and that's what we're talking about this week. Not only are we going to do it all summer, this week, that's our topic of discussion. And, we talked a little bit about what it is, why it matters, why you can go too far. And then today, we're going to talk a little bit about how it drives us. How can celebrations drive us to take the next step, to move forward, whatever the case might be? So do you want to share some thoughts on that, Bob?
I would love to, Tom. Thank you for the opportunity. I think when we can celebrate, we are putting positive thoughts into our head, which makes it easier to repel the negative thoughts that so easily can get into our heads. So I liken it to celebration is a way to build body armor against all the negative things that could come at us from inside our head, from other people going, really? That's what you want to do? That'll never work. That's a stupid idea. All those things. I think celebrating each success along the way is your way to combat that as quickly as possible. Because on a day when I'm not celebrating, I'm just like, oh, this is so horrible. It's Thursday. I can't believe it. All I could come up with was National Egg Day and National Repeat Day. If you said to me, Bob, that wasn't very engaging, I'd be like, oh, you're right, Tom. I'm a total failure. We should stop this whole program. Let's quit it right now. But if I'm celebrating something, even something as simple as oatmeal, I think there's positive endorphins. It's like when you run and you get that endorphin rush or exercise. I think there's a positivity that permeates not just you, but the people around you. And I think ultimately, when we talk about people that we know, like, and trust being who, or people that know, like, and trust us are going to be our customers or clients, then I think positivity from celebration that we have inside us helps make us more presentable to them. Not that I want to tell people I had great oatmeal today, but I have a couple meetings today where the fact that I had a great bowl of oatmeal is really good. I've got an important phone call this morning that I've got to make, and that oatmeal is like, yeah, man, this day is off to a great start. I can handle this call.
I like that. I think it's also interesting, it just, as you were talking, I got thinking about, my work experiences and whether I was the leader or being led, whenever we were recognized, which is really a celebration of work that you have done. There was something about that helped drive you to whatever was next. I clearly remember, I was doing an event. It was the first time we had done this event on the campus that I was working at. And because I opened my mouth and suggested a way to do it, I was sort of put in charge. And the day after the event, I got a call from the chairman of the board of trustees. And I was like, wait, I'm some little, I think I was in my third year as a professional. And here's the chairman of the board of trustees who wanted to call and, one, thank me and share in the celebration of what a great event it was. And that drove me to be like, wow, if I do something that makes a difference and that matters, I could get recognized for it, and then that's just something to celebrate. And I also remember that I clearly remember people's faces lighting up when I would recognize or celebrate the work that they did as a part of my team. And I think that it's, reinforcement of the good that we do typically, I think, encourages us to want to do more. It's that if you're getting the right reinforcement, geez, I'm going to keep doing these things because I sort of enjoy the fact that I'm not being yelled at for something that went wrong, and B, they actually are recognizing the work that I do. It's interesting. I think people always wonder, like, why do all those fast food chains have like employee of the month or employee of the week
or parking space
right
outside?
Right. Benefit for someone who they want to recognize and celebrate the work that they have done. And yes, they're doing it for good measures. And I'm sure they're doing it because they know that if they continue to celebrate their members, people in the organization will work hard because maybe they want to be recognized. Or because they've been recognized, they're going to keep working hard or decide they want to stay in an organization when they may have other opportunities. And I think that it's one thing when it's driven from outside of us, someone else recognizes and celebrates what we do. I think it's even stronger when we do it ourselves, because sometimes other people, our efforts go unnoticed, no matter how beneficial they were, how successful they were. People might just be like, hey, either somebody else takes the benefit, or it's just something that you have done that went really well and no one stepped forward to say, hey, this is what you did. Thank you for doing that. And let's celebrate that. You still should celebrate what you did. And I think that internal celebration helps you move forward.
And I think when you model it externally to other people, it helps them to see that they can celebrate. And within a culture, in an organization, no matter how big or small, it's great to have a celebration component. Even my one-person company, I celebrate my clients. 7 or 8 years ago, I had a client who I worked with for a couple of years, and then we went our separate ways. It just was time. And I said, I'm going to miss getting to hang out with you and do these things. And he said, you know what I'm going to miss most? I'm like, oh, this is going to be, I'm doing web stuff for him and email campaigns. And he said, I'm going to miss your incredible positivity. And the fact that every time I was around you, I felt like I could climb mountains that I didn't think I could climb before you showed up. I was like, wow, that's cool. And absolutely. I didn't think about it, but every time I would see him, he'd be like, oh, I got this problem. He'd be like, yeah, okay. How are we going to tackle it? You've done harder things. Come on. What's the solution? And we'd solve the problem. And I think we need to build that muscle in ourselves to be able to say, you know what? I've dealt with difficult things. We all have. No one who's listening to this or watching this hasn't dealt with at least one difficult thing. I would bet most of us have dealt with at least one difficult thing in the last 24 hours. But are we celebrating it? Are we celebrating that we achieved something? Probably not. And that's where this whole idea, to me, it's so valuable to really focus on it, because it will propel you. It could very well be the rocket fuel that we all need to keep going. I like the body armor imagery better, because it seems to me if I'm celebrating something, it makes it harder for someone to get at the inner Bob that's waiting to be criticized.
Interesting. Interesting that you choose body armor rather than rocket fuel. I think that's it's just an interesting.
Sometimes I just walk into it.
Sure. I think it's interesting, because I sort of think as body armor as a protective device.
As do I.
Rather than something driving us forward. And, I also think that sometimes body armor can repel people's celebrations or kind words or testimonials or other things, celebrations of your work, as well as it repels the negative things that people may say. And that's why I kind of like rocket fuel, because it's those things that be like, you know what, when I need a jump start, I'm going to celebrate. And the next thing I know, that rocket fuel is going to push me beyond whatever else is going on. The rest of it doesn't matter. Now it's time to move forward.
I wonder if it's body armor until it becomes rocket fuel. It's a protective coating, and then you realize that you've built this muscle, you can do it more internally, and now it's the rocket fuel.
Maybe. I don't know. I think body armor is, I don't know. I have to think more about that.
All right. I'm going to throw some comments in. Troy says, good stuff. Great to see you, Troy. He also added, employees don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. The problem isn't the problem. The problem is, how do we approach the problem? Key is mindset. I get to go to work. Gratitude. Awesome. And then I'm trying to figure out who this is. Give me 1 second. I thought so. It is Tim saying, I like Bob's analogy. Celebrating can help protect you. It's not perfect, but I like it. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate that. And then Julie says, good stuff, Tom. I'll be celebrating in July when summer assigning is done. I assume she's one of your lacrosse officials?
She is someone who also assigns officials like me. And so this time of year gets very chaotic, and sometimes it's hard. You know, when people don't show up or get hurt or sick, coaches are yelling.
Vacation. Yeah,
that's just, you don't have enough officials. You know, those things happen. And sometimes it's hard to celebrate. And I think there is definitely a celebration when the season is over. As much as it's enjoyable and we love what we do, there is also a point when it's like, okay, it's time to take a break and let's celebrate all that we did to provide an atmosphere for kids to have safe fun over the summer. And I think that's great. Thank you, Julie, for popping in.
Yeah, thank you. And it's interesting to me, Tom, when we talk about celebrating, we celebrate the end of the school year as kids. Mm-hmm. The kids next door, I think they're in 3rd grade. They have Spirit Week all this week. So they were dressing as a decade the other day. And the day before, they were dressing as a cartoon character. And all these celebrations to get to the end of the school year, that you've achieved something and they're not doing as much of the classroom work.
Right.
And so I think we get acclimated at a young age to celebrate. I think as we get older, as problems get more difficult, and as someone's not setting up the celebration for us, because, you know, if you finish a semester of college, there's no ticker tape parade. There's no celebration. Your parents might say, hey, nice job. Or friends like, oh, how'd you do? I got B+ GPA. Okay. If you pass a certification class to be an auto mechanic or to be a lawn care professional, there's not a huge graduation ceremony. And all those things are key moments in people's lives that often it's like, well, you know, I'm not this, I'm not that. I think the more we celebrate those things, those little steps, like we, you know, Tim, a couple weeks ago, got his LLC for his company in Texas. That was a great celebration. That was huge. That was one of the most exciting things that I've seen in years, because I know what Tim's been going through to get to this point. And to see that certificate was just great. And someone else be like, yeah, I've had an LLC for 10 years, big deal. I think the other thing about that celebration, it reminded me with Tim of how far I've come.
Sure.
And so I think there's a benefit to us celebrating with other people that we get to share, but they also get to discover what matters to us, what's important to us, and also the things that some of the things you've achieved are the same things I'm trying to achieve. And it's even bigger to me when, like, I helped you with the speaking thing. That was a huge thing for you. And it was great for me to be able to help you get there. You know, so I think there's no limit to what we can celebrate. The only limitation is when we go, you know, I don't deserve to celebrate.
Well, I think we don't identify opportunities to celebrate. You know, it's interesting. You were talking about kids that, you know, they have like an end of something. Mm-hmm. It's in the end of the school year, or even an end of the semester. I know some people definitely celebrate that, or graduation, your end of high school, college. Now There's graduations for preschool, elementary, middle school. And so I think those are created in a way to help celebrate what people have done. What's interesting is, you take like someone starting a business and getting their LLC is a great thing to celebrate. I think because now there is no next starting or ending point. Sometimes we forget to celebrate until the end. You've got the employee who's been with you for 25 years and you celebrate their 25 years when they retire. Where were all the celebrations throughout their time there? And so I think that's when it becomes less and less a part of our adult lives, is because we don't always have those key moments where we feel like we need to celebrate. And so, yes, we have birthdays and we have maybe anniversaries or some other things that we look back on and celebrate. But I think in our work life, it's another day. So I'm up another day doing what I keep doing, and it's another day and another day. And, when you're in a place where maybe you're at an organization for 15 or 20 years, there are less opportunities to identify those milestones to celebrate. And yeah, you do the big ones, but that's almost like longevity, right? I mean, and is there success in that? Absolutely. And okay, you were there. You came to work every day, which is great. Well, where did we find time to celebrate all the things you did while you were at work? And I think that's hopefully the piece that I think helps drive us. And it's interesting. I often wonder if we celebrated more the work people did, would they stay longer, or would they feel more confident in what they do and go looking for the next opportunity that might propel them a little bit further? I don't know. To me, that's an interesting.
The research in that area is that people will stay at a job longer if they feel like they're valued and making a contribution. And the number one way to do that is to appreciate their efforts. And there's been research where they ask people, if we gave you a $20,000 raise or your boss thanked you every couple of weeks, which would you prefer at your current job? And they would say, oh, I'd rather have the boss thank me. Money only goes so far. We're all seeking that affirmation that we make a difference. And especially, I think the bigger the organization, the harder it is to know you're making a difference, because there are so many things. I mean, one great thing about having a company of my own, or even a company with you, pretty much can point the finger at who does something and go, hey, you did a great job, or hey, you messed that up. I can't imagine, I worked in a state government.
Right.
It wasn't me. Well, it kind of was. And it was 88 other people along the path.
Sure. Well, and I think those are the challenges for leaders with big teams, is how do you find ways to celebrate everybody's part in the success that the organization has? And I think that becomes a challenge. And I think that's one of the reasons that leaders struggle. And many people in large organizations feel frustrated because they don't feel appreciated. They don't feel that the work that they did made a difference, had an impact on what the organization was trying to accomplish. So I think those are some challenges.
So Tom, what's your one thing today?
My one thing today about celebration and how it drives us. I'm going to go back to, I think that we need to find those ways, because I think it does make a difference. I think that the more we find ways to recognize, celebrate, and create opportunities for celebration, the more effective it will be. And I like the idea of it being rocket fuel, being like, hey, you know what? When I'm struggling, let me stop and identify something that I can celebrate, and let that, the emotion, the feeling, the positivity, as you said, fuel me to move forward to whatever is next. And I think that that's that might be a nice, sort of tip, that if you're struggling, pause, find something that you have done well, celebrate that, and let that drive whatever you're going to do next.
It's funny you say that. There have been times where I have a day where I'm just not on my game, and I love to write, and writing comes easily to me. And that's when I'll write. You probably don't even know this, Tom, but there'll be times when I write something 3-4 days before it's due, It's because I just need to write something. And once I get into that writing and feel good about the writing, my attitude changes completely. And I think we all have those things, and they don't have to be major things. If you I worked with someone who loved to sharpen pencils. This was obviously some years ago, but she would just sit with her electric pencil sharpener and do that for like 5 minutes. And it was like the greatest thing in the world to her. Okay. And then after that, she was on her game. Before that, she was ready to kill someone. She'd sit, put 5, 6 pencils in. And I thought you were yawning at me. You were sneezing, weren't you?
I was about to sneeze.
Okay. I thought you were yawning. I'm like, wow, I'm boring Tom this morning.
Not at all. Not at all.
And so that was her thing, just sharpening pencils. It doesn't have to be anything huge. And I think that's what I would say. The celebration can be over something as simple as you made the perfect bowl of oatmeal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We finished where we started, right?
And we didn't repeat.
Well, we did a little bit at the beginning, but that's okay.
Bring us home, Tom.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for being a part of us. If you want to share a little bit of what you think about how celebrating drives us, please share it in the comments. You can also share it in the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, where you can also share today's celebration. And what are you celebrating today? Because remember, our goal is we're going to try to have a summer of celebration. And we encourage you to do one every day. And you know what? If you do one every other day or when the moment strikes, that would be great as well. So we hope that you will be a part of that. If you are struggling to figure out how to celebrate, one of the things Bob and I are doing is we are going to offer the opportunity for some people to apply for a free month membership of our Renegade Success Network, where we are helping entrepreneurs, business leaders, and organizations move forward, take the next step, get away from what they're stuck, frustrated, or overwhelmed by. So if you are interested in that, send us a message. You will also find a way to submit your application to be a part of that group inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. It's easy to join. Just go to Ring of Renegades, go to Facebook, search for Ring of Renegades, and you can be a part of our growing community. So with that, I hope you have a great day. We will see you inside the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, or we'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time, for our next edition of today's Antidote. And if you want to learn a little bit more about the Renegade Success Network and how we're helping people move forward, here's some further information. Have a great day. Are you struggling to make your vision a reality? Are you stuck and don't know what to do next? Are fear and doubt holding you back? The Renegade Success Network will help you determine the next steps on your pathway. Here is some of what you will get. Create your pathway call to start you on a better path. Unlimited laser solution sessions to keep you from getting stuck. Nurture your network events to build your network with other successful leaders. Monthly Renegade challenges to prepare you for what lies ahead. The Renegade Success Vault, giving you access to videos, tools, and tips on specific topics anytime you need them. And the Renegade Success Network community, an exclusive Facebook group of like-minded renegades, all working towards achieving their goals. You have a choice. Do it yourself and fumble forward slowly and alone. Or join the Renegade Success Network and be part of a community built to help you find your own pathway. Join today at renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Act now and jumpstart your journey on your own pathway to success.